NASCAR has officially set up their playoff bracket, or not really bracket, but their playoff players, I guess you would say. What I'm trying to say to you is that the 2012 Sprint Cup Chase drivers are set. Ladies and gentlemen, it's similar to what we were just talking about in the golf world. They race all year long, and then the top 12 drivers from the entire year get to race in what is called the Sprint Chase. And this is a set of races where
10 races.
And it's all about racking up points, and the most points wins this chase. And the chase winner, I believe, walks away with a nice, hefty purse as well. With that said...
The field is now set.
Thank you, that's beautiful. The field is now set. 4 drivers from the 2011 chase, Kyle Busch, Ryan Newman, Kurt Busch, and Carl Edwards, are not part of the 2012 chase.
All 4 cars from Hendrick Motorsports are a part of the chase, though.
See, that's impressive. Hendrick Motors is, even if you don't follow NASCAR, you've heard of Hendrick Motors. I mean, I know I have, and I don't follow NASCAR. I follow enough sports, but I have heard of Hendrick Motors before. Now, all 12 drivers that are part of the chase have been in the chase at least one time. And what I did was I really just went through and I looked at all 12 drivers, and I found out like one little tidbit of information for you guys. Mom, thank you real quick to cover our backs real quick for the FedEx Cup with golf. 30 players make it, so the 30 best real quick. So 30. Now we're on 12. But I went through real quick and looked at each of the 12 drivers and just wrote like a little note on them. And then what I'd like for me and you to do is to pick a driver.
Absolutely. I already got my driver.
You did?
I followed all year long, so I can't back out on him now.
All right. Well, let me go through these guys. You let me know who your driver is. I'll pick a guy, and then we'll go from there. And ladies and gentlemen, if you want to pick a driver too.
Let me guess, you're going to pick 6-time champion Jimmy Johnson?
No, it's too easy. Too easy.
He's dominating, by the way.
He's just
sport,
a dominant
especially. Well, when it comes down to these 10 races, especially he just really knows how to race these 10 tracks.
Well, that's what I mean. It's the same tracks every year, right?
And that's why he just has to get in, and then it's the same 10 tracks that he knows how to race, and he takes care of business come chase time.
And you can't argue that for a man that won 6 of these things already. Most ever by a single driver as well. So who you got? All right. Well, look, let me go through the drivers real quick, and then I'll tell you who I got.
All right.
Kevin Harvick is only one of 2 drivers to make the chase this year without winning a race this year. Then you got Casey Kane, who started the season finishing 29th or worse in 4 of the first 6 races and ranked 31st in the standings after the first 6 races, and then still managed to finish in the final 12. Martin Truex Jr.
Martin Truex, yeah.
Martin Truex Jr. Only 1 top 3 in the past 18 races, and he has only 1 career victory, and that was 5 years ago. Then you got Clint Bowyer. Bowyer, sorry.
No problem.
Bowyer has wins at 2 chase tracks, New Hampshire and Talladega. Then you got Matt Kenseth, who is arguably the most consistent driver in the chase. Now, look, I do not follow much NASCAR. That is strictly based on a couple different opinions I read about the guy. Then you got already did that. Jeff Gordon finished 2nd this past weekend at Richmond. Then
That's how he barely squeaked in.
He did. He came from behind, and if he didn't finish 2nd, probably wouldn't be in the Sprint Cup chase.
No.
So for those of you that look for drama, there's one drama right there. If you were into yesterday's race, that was something that was a storyline that would have gotten you even more into those final 100 laps, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So he sneaks in just off of yesterday. You got Greg Biffle, who is the regular season points leader. Tony Stewart, your defending chase champion. Dale Earnhardt Jr. consistently has finished in the top all year, but has struggled to actually win. Jimmy Johnson, who we mentioned, 6-time winner, but has finished 13th or worse in 4 of the past 6 races. Brad Keselowski is a high-risk, high-reward kind of driver. He's willing to risk his car and his well-being to try and get a lead. And then Denny Hamlin, who won 2 of the last 3 races before the chase. And I am going to go a little old school, and I'm going to actually go with Jeff Gordon. He is going to be my pick just because I like he's a little more old school, a little more, been around the block a few times. And I like Jeff Gordon, man. I've always been a fan of the guy. He struggles mightily being behind. He's on the same team as Jimmy Johnson, right?
Yeah.
So that he's always sort of lived in his shadow. But you know what? I think that it was meant to be yesterday. He got into the race. He got into the Sprint Cup chase. And I think he's going to take the Sprint Cup chase.
Now, see, me, I've always been a fan of this driver. I'm happy he's back to doing well. I got to go with Junior. I got to go with Dale Earnhardt Jr. to win his first Cup. I mean, again, it's hard to pick against Jimmy Johnson because the guy's won 6 in a row. You know, he's one of the greatest drivers that probably we'll ever get a chance to see, especially with this Sprint Cup format. But my heart's with Earnhardt Jr.
And you gotta like that too. I mean, the guy never really wins, yet he's the arguably the biggest driver. Yeah. So I mean, one of the articles that I was reading, the article that I was reading when I wrote this, mentioned how badly NASCAR wants Dale Earnhardt Jr. to, even if he doesn't win it, to at least be in that competitive, spot to have a chance to win in the final race. Because even NASCAR knows the more competitive he is, the better chance he has of winning, the bigger their ratings are, the better chance of bringing in more money they have. Like, it's a big deal if you can get him to be in the one of those final spots to take the Sprint Cup.